All these moments have led to this position where Tottenham Hotspur Football Club are currently at right now, which we are 16th in the Premier League, 1 point above the relegation zone, and all these moments, including moments from 10 years ago, have amounted to this day, and to the situation, in fact. Let's get into it. So, come 10 years ago, when I actually started watching football, I actually said like 11 years ago, 2015, 2014, the 2014-15 season, when Poch first came to Spurs, was the first season I actually started watching football, and obviously I support Tottenham. Anyways, I remember we had a squad of Lennon, Stambouli, Yunus Kabul, Vertonghen, Carl Norton, Danny Rose. Like, them names on paper does not sound appealing to you at all. But on the Poch, he got a tune out of them. He brought through the likes from the youth academy, Harry Kane. He brought Harry Winks up through the youth academy as well. And players like that, just still things like that, giving the youngsters an opportunity to show them what they're worth, show they can do something. And and a few years into his tenure, obviously, he went through a stage where we didn't sign anyone for 3 windows. That's number one in my opinion. We didn't sign we're meant to be one of the labelled as a big 6 club, but we didn't sign one player for 3 transfer windows. You know how bad that is. Considering we were pushing at the time, yeah, we were actually pushing. When I say we were pushing, I mean we were 2nd, 3rd, 4th. We were going for the title, doing well in the Champions League, doing well in European fronts, doing well in the Carabao Cup, doing well in the FA Cup, but we could never go the extra step because they didn't back Pochettino enough. And when they did back in, the ball, Lucas Moura, amazing player. Like, on his day, he actually came clutch for Spurs, aka the Ajax semi-final game. But we signed dead players like that. That Pochettino got a tune out of Moussa Sissoko, Fernando Llorente, Toby Alderweireld, who was actually good, by the way. Who else did we sign on the Poch, man? That wasn't that he just got a tune out of somehow. A Dele Alli, 5 million from the MK Dons, cool. Ali, sensational talent at the time. But still, we're meant to be a club that's meant to be pushing on, right? A big club. And here we are signing players from MK Dons. And it didn't work out, and in the end, let's be real, as harsh as it sounds from me, it didn't really work out in the end of Dele Alli, did it? Look where he is now. But yeah, there's stuff like that, like, these little things that all matter to this moment. Anyways, got to the Champions League final. Played Champions League final, lost the Champions League final, unfortunately. He came 4th that year, but there was cracks there, you could see. From February that season onwards, we were doing terrible in the Premier League, and we somehow clinched top 4. I don't know how. Honestly, I do not know how. But honestly, we somehow clinched top 4, and we obviously lost the Champions League final. Cool. Pochettino then publicly he came out in this interview and said, look, we're in need of a rebuild here. We are in need of a rebuild. So the board have looked at that and said, you know what? To an extent, they agree. I'm like, yeah, cool, let's go. And when I say to an extent they agree, they bring the guy. Poor Pochettino, man. They brought him in. Giovanni Lo Celso. An injury-prone player. They had little talent, but not going to take us to the next level we need to get to, for Christ's sake. We went to a Champions League final. You're meant to push on for stuff like that, you know. It's a big thing. A UEFA Champions League final for the first time in the club's history. You're meant to push on from that. Especially when we just had a new stadium built as well. But no, we brought him Lo Celso and Ndombele. Cool. I put my hands up. That was an amazing signing, Ndombele. But then again, that isn't technical wise. It's an amazing signing. But did we scout him properly? Because we spent all that money on him to be our record signing at the time, and he failed in the end. Really, he had no passion for the club. He had no passion for football. His mentally was out of it. Like, yeah. So realistically, that was a really what a waste. We let him go for free as well. And we signed. At the time, he was a star. Let's be real. But at the same time, he ain't gonna get to the next level because he's a young star. Ryan Sessegnon. And now you're telling me after the Champions League final, the guy is called for a rebuild, saying this current squad is declining, and you bring him in that Ndombele, Lo Celso, and Sessegnon. Please, it makes no sense. And I'm pretty sure that might have been the summer as well. We traded Eric Lamela for Brian Hill. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Like, that transfer alone that summer does not make sense. The fact that even happened does not make sense to me. And that season obviously will not happen. Pochettino got sacked. He got sacked because he called for a rebuild, rightfully. And he got proved right in the sense that he needed to rebuild. But because we were sat so low in the league at the time, 14th, they sacked him. They gave him a chance. In my opinion, Pochettino should never been sacked. That's the first bad decision this owners made. How dare you sack Poch? How dare you? After he made us, and he actually, with the strict transfer policy we had, without signing anyone top class or anything like that, over the period of years we had him, he had to literally make talents himself. Heung-min Son, we bought, but he wasn't ready-made talent. We made him into the talent he was. Kane wasn't a ready-made talent. He was from Tottenham Academy. Pochettino gave him that chance. Kane thrived. All these things that Pochettino done for you guys, and you guys sacked him for one bad moment. Come on, man. Anyways, cool, that happened. We got rid of the magic one and hired the special one. The guy that's going to bring us all the trophies, right? José Mourinho came in, had a good manager bounce. I thought like we started playing better football. We did. I can't lie. The players were to understand more, to get they were understanding the rhythm of play. They were fighting for each other and stuff. They were getting wins. Won our first away day in so long at that time. Away at West Ham 3-2. Had a nice little comeback against Olympiacos in the Champions League. But other than that, Mourinho, I say other than that, but Mourinho didn't have these good moments. He made Kane and Son he took Kane and Son to the next level though. And that's what the Kane and Son duo, best duo in the Premier League, came about. Was from him and Conte. But anyways, stick to Mourinho right now. So Mr. Levy, you hired this guy. You hired José Mourinho, a winner, right? To obviously win us trophies. That's what you thought we needed. Someone, a winner, to get a tune out of these players. And he did get a tune out of the players until we didn't. And I remember Mourinho's first full season in charge. We started off brilliantly. We were top of the league at one point. Drew 0-0 away at Stamford Bridge. Under COVID rules as well. And we were top of the league after 10-11 games. Beat Arsenal. Beat Man United 6-1. Beat Southampton 5-2. We were on a roll. And to be honest, we didn't back him anyways, but in that season we got knocked out by Dynamo Zagreb in the Europa League round of 32, I think it was at the time, or 16, and we were 2-0 in aggregate. They knocked us out 3-0. I remember at that time in the league we were appalling. I remember we couldn't buy a win, and we got to the cup final, Carabao Cup final, right? And they got postponed due to COVID reasons, right? It wasn't in the normal month of February or March. It was in April, actually. So we got to about 7 days before the cup final, 8 days for the cup final, maybe even 6 days. Levy turns around and sacks the manager that you want in a cup final. Why would you do that? Why? That makes no sense. That makes no sense to me. And then you put in a young manager at the time. Well, not even a manager. He was a coach at the time, Ryan Mason. His first ever competitive game was a Carabao Cup final against Pep Guardiola's Manchester City in their prime. Pretty much. It was maybe just before their prime, or just after their prime. What a shocking decision to make. What a shocking, disgraceful decision to make as a football club. Honestly. And then next season, we sacked José Mourinho. Who did we go and hire? Nuno Espírito Santo. Nuno. A guy that managed Wolves. No hate to Nuno. I actually think he's a quite decent manager. For the level of West Ham, for the level of Wolves, for the level of Nottingham Forest. Not for the level of Tottenham Hotspur were at the time. As in, but we want to be bad enough for Champions League football. Nuno didn't really manage Champions League football like that. So, and we just hired another Mourinho in another sense, really. Nuno was even more defensive than Mourinho was. And Nuno unfortunately didn't work out. So after we sacked Nuno, after 3 months in charge, he was in 4 months in charge. After getting bad 3-0 by Chelsea, 3-0 by Man United at home, 3-1 by Arsenal in the North London derby, set in 10th, 11th in the league, maybe even 12th or 13th. We then hired the man we should have hired in the first place, Antonio Conte. And that man performed a miracle. We were 12th, 13th, down in the mud after 10, 11 games in. And he took over. And he just took us by storm. In that January transfer window, I remember we bought him in Bentancur and Kulusevski. That's the moves we should be making. Them two at the time, absolute class addition to the squad at the time. Yeah, Kulusevski transformed us, so did Bentancur under Conte. And we ended up getting top 4 over our North London rivals Arsenal. After being so far away from Champions League football, and in fact any sort of European football, to that fact anyways, Conte got us UCL football. And I remember the fans had belief again at the time, and we're thinking to ourselves, "Oh, man, we got ourselves a fucking miracle worker That guy could do anything, Conte. Next season, his first full season, we all hyped up for it. Then that summer window, who did we sign? Perisic, cool. I rate Perisic. Very good signing. Old, but can do the job. Fraser Forster, Clement Longley, and Richarlison. If there's someone I'm missing, let me know in the comments. But anyways, them players are named alone. Richarlison, cool. Richarlison just narrowly got Everton out of relegation on his Jack Jones. And I'll forever rate Richarlison for that. Honestly, I would. He carried the Everton squad, taking injections week in, week out, just to play and fight for their team. That's the player I wanted at my club at the time. But when you look back at it, we shouldn't be signing players like from Everton now, relegation fodder, like Richarlison. No way. We should never be going in for players like that. When we were in the UEFA Champions League and Everton almost got relegated from the Premier League, letting them play any sort of European football. Anyway, Sam Richarlison, cool. As a backup to Harry Kane, I guess. We did need a backup striker. Cool, Richarlison, I don't mind him as a backup. But we all knew that Kane wanted to leave at this point in time. There was always rumours about Kane leaving around these years, 2023, 24, 22 as well. There's rumours about him leaving, and why would you go on sign Richarlison knowing fully well that Richarlison would be the replacement for Harry Kane, really? Like, you must know that when you're planning that in the boardroom meetings and stuff and you're talking to Kane personally, you must know, like, what you should do and what you are doing. And so you went wrong with Richarlison, and that window is just horrible. How have you signed them players? And sorry, Emerson Royale as well. Emerson Royale we signed. Emerson Royale. Actually, we signed him a season before, sorry, but didn't get another right back in, did we? No. And yeah, not a great summer window, but we started the season amazingly. I remember, I think we were third going into January, I think, or maybe even higher than that. And we signed Jed Spence in January, and after Spence signed, he didn't really use Jed Spence. Well, pretty much a waste of money really, at the time. And Conte got to a point in February where we went FA Cup 5th round, Champions League round 16 against AC Milan, 2 legs to play, and we were battling. We actually were in the not in the title race. I don't want to put it like that. We were like definitely running in that top 4 though, like right up there in top 3, top 4. And I remember where that week where we had Sheffield United away, AC Milan away, and who was it? No, sorry, it was AC Milan away, Sheffield United away, and AC Milan at home. I remember them 3 games. And we got knocked out by Sheffield United. And I remember, you just know as a Spurs fan, you just know getting knocked out by Sheffield United was going to be the start of a shite season coming ahead of us. And we knocked out the FA Cup 5th round. And then we got Champions League round 16 ties to play. AC Milan won the first leg 1-0. Second leg, we drew 0-0. And Romero got sent off. And it was an awful performance, really. Cool. We're out of 2 competitions now. We got focus left in the Premier League. And I remember, we were winning games in the Premier League still. We got Southampton in March, I think it was. Start of March, maybe middle of March. Played Southampton now, away from home. We were 3-1 up, cruising at St Mary's Stadium. And we drew 3-3 in the end. Capitulated. And then Conte went on a rage in the press conference. He was raging. And as he was raging in the press conference, obviously you could tell he wanted to get sacked because he didn't want to be at the club anymore. You could tell he lost all his heart at Spurs. And he called out the board, and the owners thought they really were. And I remember his first manager that actually done that whilst being at Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. First manager to do that. And I thought, you know what? For once, the guy has come out and said the full-on truth about the virus that we have at our club. Daniel Levy, not for night at the time. Daniel Levy, Enoch, Joe Lewis, everyone that runs the club on the hierarchy, all viruses, all killing our club slowly but surely. And Conte called them all out, got sacked inevitably. So we got in charge instead? He's assistant coach, Christian Stellini. Please, man. Like, how is that any different to Antonio Conte? You might as well have kept Conte and trying to prove him wrong with him and back him in the next summer. But anyways, Conte was gone, we had Stellini. I made a horror end to the season. Newcastle battered us. You had you were just getting battered left, right, and centre. We were getting peppered. And I remember we got to May. Beat Leeds 4-1, I think it was on the last day anyways, under Ryan Mason. And we sat 8th in the Premier League, and we all thought that was a crisis. We were 8th in the Premier League. Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, after so many years in Europe, finished 8th in the Premier League. And yeah, that was a crisis to us fans back then. And we hired, and then in the summer, obviously, we had to make this next appointment right. So we looked at Celtics manager, Ange Postecoglou, Hired Ange Postecoglou. He always wins things his second season. Hired Ange. We signed James Maddison. Quite a decent summer window actually. I won't blame the board too much for this. Hired Ange Postecoglou. Signed James Maddison. We signed. Who else we signed that season? Brennan Johnson. We signed Vicario to replace a very declining Hugo Lloris. And Vicario was good at the time. Let me be real. Van der Ven. Destiny Doggy. So to be honest with you, that is quite a decent amount of signings there, and as it's a quite decent window. Postecoglou's first 10 games in charge, absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. The football, the results, we're winning every game. At worst, we're getting a draw. I was going to say every game knowing we're going to score a minimum 2 goals and defend quite well. Van der Ven and Romero. Anyways, Chelsea games comes along. We lose 4-1 at home. 9 men went down to, but we still played with heart. And the fans didn't mind that at the time. We drew 3-3 away at the Etihad after a loss to Wolves with Emerson Rowe, Ben Davies as centre-back. Went for an injury crisis. January, I can't remember if we signed anyone in January. Maybe Archie Gray was that season as well. Can't remember. Jed Spence ended up coming through the next season. But let me just come to this season anyways. So, with these players that we had at Ange Postecoglou in the first season, they all came back towards maybe March, April time. And I remember, obviously, they have no Europe to focus on. The last 7-8 games, we didn't win one game. And we somehow still got 5th, right? We still got top 5, which honoured UEFA Europa League football back into Europe. At least it wasn't UEFA Conference League this time, it was Europa League. So, right, something that as Spurs fan, I thought at the time, you know what? Maybe we could go far in that, maybe even win it at the time. And Postecoglou's second season in charge, he always stated, remember, I always been fit since my second year. Anyways, got to the second season. We signed I think it was last season, we signed Archie Gray, we signed Odebear, Bergfowl, and Solanke. 3 youngsters and 1 Prem-proven striker. Cool. You know what? Postecoglou's in charge of it. I'm trust him. We started the season alright, okay, I guess. Not the best, not the worst. And then we just went downhill from when was it? We beat Man City away 4-0, and then after that, we went on a downward spiral. And we ended up finishing 17th in the Premier League. In January, Spence came through. We had so many injuries. And I remember, he put his eggs all in one basket. He said, no, we're going to go for the Europa League. Inevitably, not inevitably, but we won the Europa League. Wow, the best night I've seen at Tottenham Hotspur Football Club in my lifetime. And the best parade I've seen. The only parade I've been to, obviously, but it was such a good parade, such a good turnout. The fans, the players, the squad was all united for the first time since Mauricio Pochettino, in my opinion. And you know what they go and do with the Tottenham Hotspur board? You know what they do? They sacked the manager that won our first trophy in 17 years. And our first European trophy in over 40 years. You sacked that manager, the winning manager. After the quotes he said in the parade, saying, what did he say in the parade again? He said, season 3 is better than season 2. He said that. And he got sacked. We sacked the winner. And then we hired Thomas Frank. At the time, fans were optimistic. They were saying tactically we'll be better under Frank. Little did they know, they were all wrong. All the fans said that they were all wrong. Should never sacked Ange. Should have kept Ange Postecoglou. Gave him a chance at least. That's the least he deserved, was a chance. But boy, did we fuck it up. And now we're sitting here with Thomas Frank, who started off season okay, beat Man City away, beat Burnley at home, drew Brighton away, lost to Bournemouth at home with the poor performances. And then beat West Ham 3-0 away, and I think to myself, you know what? Maybe it was the right decision, maybe. We've done the right thing for once. But no. This season has been an absolute disgrace. From top to bottom. And Vinay, Lang, Enoch, Joe Lewis, whoever's in charge of actually running this managerial side of things, yeah, how dare you keep this manager, this fraud, in for so long when we were clearly going on a downward spiral towards lower mid-table, towards the relegation zone, even though there was 10 points still in it. And Frank got us to a position where we were 15th, I think we started off, maybe even 14th. And we were like, what, 6 points clear relegation at the time? Maybe 8 points clear. It was 8 points clear we sat them. And I think to myself, my God, About time, I was so happy we sacked him. And they hired Igor Tudor. No, don't get me wrong, yeah? Do not get me wrong. We cannot blame Tudor one bit. We can't. He's lost 4 in a row, of course, but you cannot blame this guy not one bit. This situation we're in right now is down to Levy, Vinay, Lang, Enoch, Joe Lewis. Down to all the people that run the club. Down to all you guys. And this is why I say to this day, all these moments that I've mentioned in this video, these have all led to this penultimate situation where we actually are going to get relegated. I don't see a way of us getting out of it. I don't. Call me negative, call me all you want. But I did not see us getting out of this relegation fight. As sad as it is, we're not getting out of it. And you know what? This club, the people that run the club, and the players, in fact, actually, they deserve to be relegated. They deserve it. They actually deserve it. No fans don't, but the club does. But yeah, I've gone off way too long in this video. I've said what I've had to say. My voice is going, as you can tell. I'm very under the weather right now. But as always, calm on you Spurs. And if you like the video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for daily Tottenham content. Yeah, calm on you Spurs.